Hello, welcome all of you. It's me, Ranjan Rakal. Thank you for staying tuned with Distance Learning Center of West Montessori Elementary School. I am here today for a topic of class 5, and it's an adaptation of plants adaptation. Here today we'll discuss what are the adaptational features of different kinds of plants that live in different habitat. Moving on to first, let's move. What is now adaptation? Means adapting themselves to the environment they live. What are the features? And every plants, like animals, they developed different characteristics so that they could help themselves to grow in that conditions where they live. Now there are many adaptational characteristics, and it is different according to the difference of plants that lives in different scenario, different environment. But here in flowering plants, the pollination is also characteristic strategies of an adaptation. Most students, they do not notice this, but pollinations is also a strategy to adapt. Why? Because they have to adapt and they have to reproduce to continue their life. Okay, now let's move to the adaptations of three reasons, because these three: aquatic, water, desert, very hot, and carnivorous, that means insect eating or small animal eating plants. What are their adaptational characteristics? What are the adaptation features of plants living in water? What are the adaptation features of plants living in desert? And what are the adaptations of insectivorous plants or carnivorous plants? Today I'll be discussing on the first two topics: adaptation of aquatic plants and adaptation of desert plants. Let's move quickly. Okay, now adaptation of aquatic plants. They live. Aquatic means water, aqua, water. That means plants living in water. They have different forms. Now they may be submerged, neither floating nor sinking, may float or completely sinking. That means now here I have taken an example of Elodia canadensis, that is a Canadian waterweed. And these adaptations of aquatic animals, what do? Is these submerged plants do not need any support, because they are supported by water. That's why they do not have strong stem. They lack the stem strengthening tissues, because in land they have to strengthen the tissues of the stem, but in case of aquatic plants, they do not need this. That's why they can move with the flow of the water, and that's why they can float off when the water level rises, but the level of land does not rise. Now the most important point here is they do not have cuticle for preventing water loss, because the land plants, they have to absorb the water from the soil, which is a complex procedure than that by the plants living in water. Why? Because they directly absorbs the nutrients from the water. They live in water itself. That's why they do not have cuticle to prevent the water loss. Again, they have dissected leaves to increase the leaf surface area. Dissected leaves means the type of leaf which increases the surface area of the leaf. Why? Because they have so that they can get a larger area for the photosynthesis. They live in water. They may not get, some of the plants, they may be submerged. They may not get enough sunlight. That's why to get enough sunlight for photosynthesis, the leaves are broader, the leaves are dissected, so that the surface area increases. Now moving on to next, desert plants called xerophytes. That means they have, the main features is there is a lack of water in the desert. That means they have to adapt themselves for the conservation of water that they have. That's why their leaves are reduced. It's not like in the case of aquatic animals. They have reduced leaf. What? To prevent the transpiration. Now the transpiration means is the process of throwing excess water from the body of the plant, and it is done by the stomata. Now, since they are in the environment where there is a lack of water, they have to reduce this throwing of excess water, that is transpiration. That's why leaves are reduced, and these reduced leaves, that is present in the form of thorns, from form of spines. They are covered with a thick cuticle because loss of water is a major issue here. In aquatic adaptation, plants loss of water wasn't a major issue because enough water is available, but here water is rare. That means they have to protect the water that is present inside themselves. That's why they have a thick cuticle, outer covering in the stem. And again, they are easily spotted by other organisms in the desert. That's why, to prevent themselves, again they also develop sharp spines. It's sharp spines, they are also the form of reduced leaves. Here it is an example of cactus that adapts in the environment, and it has developed the thorns because it may be desirable to the animals that seek water and food, because it has the higher water storing capacity, and they develop spines. These spines are also considered as the reduced form of leaf. Okay, now today we discussed adaptation of desert plants and adaptations of aquatic plants. Now in the next video I will continue the lesson with adaptations of insectivorous plants, adaptations of carnivorous plants, with some of the examples, and trying to make you more clear about the adaptations. Now till we meet again, stay safe, bye bye, have a good time ahead, see you again.